Harkness, managing broker with RE/MAX, who consistently ranks in the top 1% of brokers in the country. Cory, how are you? You know, I was talking about mountains. I know you're go up to the mountains all the time.
Oh, yeah. I was up at Snoqualmie this weekend. It was absolutely gorgeous. Skiing in a T-shirt.
Yeah, and what's funny is you drive down the hill, and I don't want to get too much in the weather here, but you come back down I-90, and you can see where the fog starts just above North Bend, and then you get into it, and it drops like 25 degrees.
Yeah, it was crazy. Actually, even yesterday in the mountains, Alpental was just warm and toasty, and some of the lower hills were freezing cold.
Yeah.
I mean, down in the teens, and literally we were probably 50 degrees or more at Alpental.
Real nice spring skiing. Well, Cory, when you're not skiing, I know you are also selling houses, although you do sell a lot of houses up on the ski hill.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at people who are looking to buy or sell a house, obviously interviewing real estate agents becomes a really big part of that. And I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what value they can get from a real estate agent because you're going to pay a lot of money to hire one. Is there any tips that you really have for buyers and sellers as far as what they should look for when it comes to value in a professional real estate agent?
Well, there's a couple things to know. Statistically, almost 80% of the people hire the first agent they talk to. So they'll go hire the agent that they meet on the sidelines at a soccer game that might do, one or two deals a year, because the average is only 3 to 4 transactions a year, even in a strong market like what we had last year. You've got agents out there. I did 40 last year. There's other agents that, have done the same or more. There's a huge difference in experience level when you have that. So, I mean, number one, look for the CRS. Make sure you've got an agent that's full-time.
CRS is Certified Residential Specialist?
Yeah, and it also has another acronym. But, it's generally it tells you that somebody's committed to the business. And if they're not willing to go out and get the additional education, how motivated are they going to be to do anything other than just hang a sign in your yard and maybe fill it with some flyers? Mm-hmm. This business has transitioned so much in the last decade that you really want to start, getting an agent that starts putting stuff out on the internet, syndicating, for professional photography. I mean, every little piece counts. Even in a hot market where you may have multiple offers, which is what we're seeing now because inventory is so low, if you're going to have multiple offers, you still want to get as many buyers in front of your house as possible because there could be one buyer that bumps it up a little higher than the next guy, and you could leave thousands of dollars on the table if you didn't get in front of everybody you possibly could.
Mm-hmm. And so when people try to find an agent who can get them in front of the most people, are there questions that they should be asking specifically?
Yeah, ask specifically about the marketing plan, ask about their experience, make sure it's actually their full-time job, ask them how many transactions they've done, ask them for references, past clients. The other thing is, not all these, market, inventory is low. You hear about there's, multiple offers on this house, there's multiple offers on that house. That doesn't happen on every house. It doesn't happen in every neighborhood. It's great for the news. But what are they going to do if your house doesn't sell in the first week? What are they doing for step 2, step 3, step 4? And what are they giving you for feedback?
Mm-hmm.
So
when you're a seller and you're trying to get that feedback, what type of feedback is important?
Well, it's good to get the impressions that agents and their buyers have. So if they're walking in and they're saying, look, the painting of your wife just isn't working for me, or the green room, isn't working for me. There's, sometimes it's simple things that you can just tweak and make the house more appealing.
I mean, in some way you start to get almost like the metrics on a house, or you can kind of quantify what is going on that maybe is turning people off. So if you get, as you said, 6 poor responses on a green painted bedroom, you can change the green painted bedroom.
Right. And a lot of times as sellers...
Plus, of course, it's Sonic Green now, and then everybody
there you go. Yeah, you got to get your yellowish gold stripes and all that. You're golden.
Yeah.
So, I've sold a lot of Seahawks houses where their rooms just totally decked out in Seahawks colors. So
yeah,
I haven't seen
it's
the
like
Sonics one
house.
in a long time.
No, well, they haven't been good in a long time.
Yeah.
We haven't been here in a long time, actually.
Yeah, true.
They've been very good down in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
We're here with Cory Brandt, managing broker with RE/MAX Real Estate. So, Cory, you talk a little bit about the sellers and taking a marketing plan, understanding what's going on in the market as it pertains to their house as being really important. And then I guess really it's changing that plan or making some adjustments based on that feedback you're getting.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes, one of the advantages of hiring an experienced agent is to do that before you even list, too. Having been through thousands of houses, I've got a pretty good idea what people are going to complain about. I just met with a guy in Kirkland, and he said, "What do you think my house will sell for?" And I said, "280." And I said, "But you let me throw $6,000 at it, and we're going to sell it for $340, and we'll get it done." I mean, it's a great location. We just redid the counters, redid the backsplashes, did some painting, yard work, and boom. I mean, he's gonna make a lot of money on that $6,000 investment.
Just the aesthetics, really.
Just the aesthetics. And as a buyer, keep that in mind, too. I mean, some of these changes don't cost a lot of money, and then they're afraid to go forward on a purchase. But, to throw a new toilet, new flooring, and new cabinetry in a bathroom, it really is not expensive. So.
Well, you talk about a buyer or sellers, of course, making these changes, but how does a buyer go in and realize that maybe they are not putting lipstick on a pig? Because it's really easy to sit there and go, well, look at how nice this landscaping is. And they had a guy come out Friday and spray bark.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny you should say that, because I had a house in Bellevue last year that all the feedback was you put lipstick on a pig, but 2 agents loved it, their buyers loved it, and they bought it. So you got to be careful. I think having a good inspector is key. I think having a knowledgeable agent so that you're not spending money on an inspection on a house that really doesn't warrant the purchase and sale agreement is pretty key too. My background, I've built a number of houses. I've got a couple things going right now along those same lines. So usually I can walk into a house and say, yeah, no, we're walking away from this one. We'll go find a different one.
Before you even spend money on the inspection.
Exactly. I've talked people out of buying a number of houses over the years. So, is
there any particular thing that you can look at when you're in a house that goes, this is not going to be the right house for somebody?
Well, I mean, I walk up to a house first. I'm looking at the neighborhood, the roof, all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, if it's location, right? And then the second thing is drainage. If the house has bad drainage, run.
Yeah.
So, especially around here. But then you just start going through, and a lot of times you can look and see the quality of workmanship or the quality of finishes. I can open a door and tell you it's IKEA. I mean, from the minute I walk into a kitchen, I can say, oh, that's IKEA, that's Home Depot, Mills Pride, that's, you just get used to seeing these things.
And I'm guessing you think the IKEA cabinets are lipstick on the pig?
Not necessarily.
No?
It's dependent on how they're done, but it's certainly not.
Do they still use the Allen wrenches to put those ones together? The same Allen wrench that you do for everything else in IKEA?
Yeah. No, it's, Mills Pride makes a product that I would take the IKEA over the Mills Pride. But, it depends on what you're buying. I mean, I've put some of that stuff in rentals, and it does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got $1 million, and I've seen literally on Lake Sammamish, $3 million house full of Mills Pride cabinetry, and I'm like, seriously?
What is Mills Pride? Is that like, but that's below IKEA?
Oh, Mills Pride, you buy it in a flat box at Home Depot,
mm-hmm.
right? And you literally take like your Allen wrench, like you're saying, and you screw it all together and you hang it on the wall. This house was $3 million, and it's got this stuff hanging throughout the house. I'm like, seriously? I mean, there is some cheap SOB that owns that house.
So, Cory, we just have about a couple minutes left, but that's really, I suppose, whereas from a buyer's perspective, that's where an agent can really add value, is making sure that people realize these things, because I would not know what those different types of cabinets were unless it still had the IKEA sticker on the bottom.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely. And the other advantage of going with an agent that does a lot of business is they're not dying for your paycheck. They're not dying for, I got to get paid on this, so I don't really care if I sell them this bad house.
Right.
That's the other thing. Ask them if they're getting their business by referral. Because if they're not getting their business by referral, if they're doing one deal and then you're jettisoned, you never hear from them again, that can be a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
So
that tends to be a lot more of what's going on in all of the professional world. Is I think people are stepping back from Googling to try to find stuff. And people are asking for more recommendations, whether it's on Facebook and looking for referrals, whether it's on a phone call or whatnot. I see a lot more people looking for recommendations from people they know, from trusted sources.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Angie's List and Yelp are playing into that as well.
Yeah. Well, Cory, thanks so much for joining us. We do have to go to break. When we come back, a new company is jumping on board here pretty soon. Joe Tafoya and Carrie Carter will let you know all about it. We'll be right back after this break.